All right, so in this variation of the seated pike, we're going to be using a combination of techniques. We'll start off with an overcoming isometric, then we'll move on to a dynamic variation, and then we'll finish off with an isometric hold. So all we really need for this is a wall. I've got a box just to demonstrate, and then maybe we need a set of blocks to help reach the wall. So what we're going to be doing is, let's just dive right into it, right? So for the overcoming isometric, we're going to push our hands into the wall. We just need an immovable object, something that we can create a large amount of force into. So the wall works fine here. If we can't, we do need to be able to reach the wall. So if our flexibility doesn't allow us to fully reach that wall and press strongly into it, I don't mean just the tips of your fingers are touching. We're making a strong contact. That's what we're looking for. In that situation, that's where the blocks are going to come in handy. You may find that this allows you to push strongly into the box, right? Maybe even here, wherever that is. So then with the feet, this can be done with our feet pointed, or it can be done with our feet with our ankles dorsiflexed. So I do recommend building up to doing this with the ankles dorsiflexed, as that's going to provide the largest stretch through the backside of the legs. It really stretches the calves when we're in this dorsiflexed position. So okay, let's just dive right in. We do the overcoming isometric. We want to generate a large amount of force into the wall, because that's going to start triggering us to squeeze our quads and our hip flexors, engaging our abs. This drives this hip compression that we're looking for. So we're going to perform this for 3 repetitions, each 10 seconds long, and try to ramp up to maximum intensity by the time we reach that 10-second mark. So for example, let's say I was using the blocks. We're going to want to do this with straight arms more so than with bent arms. So let's say here, push, 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 push strongly and try to pull yourself deeper. Squeeze those quads, squeeze those quads, squeeze those quads. You see me, I'm naturally wanting to pull myself all the way down. So for me, I would have my hands on the wall. So we'd perform that, like I said, for most likely, it depends on what's prescribed, about 3 repetitions, each 10 seconds long, roughly. So we should feel like our quads are extremely fired up at this point. They were burning. You almost wanted to cramp in that area. Maybe you did cramp. That's also okay. From there, we're going to move on to a dynamic variation now, where we're going to want to reach towards the wall for repetitions. So in this case, we would actually want to scoop back away from the wall to a distance where now when we reach, we just barely touch the wall, or maybe we don't touch the wall. So let's say we perform let's say the program prescribes 10 to 15 repetitions, 10 to 20 repetitions, however many reaches we have. We want to pull ourselves deeper on every repetition. So if we set up to where just our nail touches the wall, each repetition we're trying to get more contact between our fingers, more contact. We're not looking for fast repetitions here. We're looking for a strong, active pull towards the wall. So over the set, you might find that you're pulling yourself deeper. Now I'm getting a really good contact. So in that case, maybe I would go further back. Go further back. See, for me, it's about here. You see, I'm not touching there and starting to touch. You want to be at a distance where essentially just your nail is touching the wall. This is what forces you to use the muscles on the front side of the body to drive you towards the wall. And that's what we're seeking: intensity in the quads, intensity in the hip flexors, and even here in the belly area. So that's the second part of the seated pike. The third part is going to be an active hold. So now we're going to want to, we're going to want to be in a position where we're just barely touching the wall, and we're going to want to hold there. So we're at our end range of motion. This is where the magic is happening. So now we're seeking somewhere between the 10 to 30 second active hold, where boom, we're squeezing the quads. The knees are maximally locked out. Point the hell out of your toes or dorsiflex them. Engage the belly. Try to get as much contact as you can between your torso and your legs. And yeah, that pretty much covers the technique. So I know I mentioned it several times, but this is key. engagement of the muscles on the front side of the body. Use those muscles to drive you, to pull you in towards the wall. Suffer from how hard you're contracting your quads, from how hard you're trying to lock out your knee. You should be feeling it here in the hip area. No, you should. You most likely will be. Maybe you're not. But yeah, that covers the seated pike variation.